This is Let's Talk Big with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel. The Owens Community College campus read is taking place now and throughout the semester with the goal of bringing awareness of different perspectives through books. The campus read book is the New York Times bestseller, Tru Biz by Sara Novic. Tru Biz is a story of sign language and lip reading, cochlear implants and civil rights, isolation and injustice, first love and loss, and above all, great persistence, daring, and joy. Now, sharing passages, topics, and events related to the book is Owens Community College Director of Library Services, Jane Berger, and Professor of English, Jen Hazel.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk Big. I'm Jen Hazel, and I have with me
Jane Berger.
And we have today...
Yeah, drum roll.
We have with us today Sara Novic. Yay!
What was the most emotional or meaningful chapter or scene for you to write, and why?
So there are two specific ones that I think of. One was, I'm sorry. I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler now. So you got your spoiler warning. But there's one with the death of February's mother. That when I wrote that scene, it was related to my experience with my grandmother dying. And so when I was writing that, I was actually crying myself the whole time. So that one, and then the other one was when I first started writing this book, I didn't have any kids. And now I have two. So I was pregnant while I was writing the book. And then obviously when I started writing the book, I was like, oh, Charlie's so resistant, she's such a rebel. And then I had the baby. And I was like, oh my God, we need to see Charlie's mother's perspective. So Charlie and her mom, seeing her perspective, that was the first addition that I made to the book, was adding her mom's perspective. Because I really wanted people to understand why she made the choices she made. And, she made bad choices, but she wasn't a bad person. She was trying to do what she thought was best.
Yep.
And we all do that as parents.
Yep.
Yeah, and the way that you write that too, Sara, it reads as she was following the advice from the medical community, which would have been the way you described it exactly, exactly what probably would have happened. So I think that feels very authentic in itself, and especially that moment near, I guess it's kind of near the end, when she is talking about how she made the choices she made and why. It's really a profound point. My students often zero in. I've taught the book this is the third semester now with various classes, and they zero in on that point. Actually, almost every student has something in that area to say. So, Sara, how do you see the future of deaf education evolving, especially in the residential settings? Sorry, not to be loaded.
Ooh. Yeah, the timing is tough.
Okay, you know what? It's all heavy at this point.
Yes.
It's all loaded at this point. It's really hard to know. I mean, obviously, deaf students' rights to education are in danger right now. And the whole Department of Education is a very important part of that. And that's the way that deaf students are able to, have their rights protected. Um, hmm, I really don't know. It's hard to know what's going to happen.
That's fair.
Part of the concern about deaf schools is the funding. Deaf schools are expensive. They're expensive to run. And families maybe don't realize that they even have an option for their students, or they don't want their kids to be separated from the family for those long periods of time. They want to be able to see them as normal, quote unquote, normal. There's so many things involved. And the problem is when the deaf schools get smaller and smaller, and we have fewer of them. The kids in the deaf schools also suffer because they don't have as many resources. And, when there are more deaf students out in the mainstream, then they're suffering in a different way. They have a lack in a different way.
Right. What advice would you give to young deaf writers who want to write or tell their own stories?
Do it.
I was hoping that's what you signed.
Yes, it's exciting. It's a very exciting time, honestly, for deaf literature. And I'm saying that, we're seeing more deaf characters in movies and on TV. We're seeing more deaf books as well. But we always need more. We need to keep on growing because we can't just have one perspective, for the whole community. We need the whole spectrum.
Absolutely right. Thanks.
All right, so we have one final question for you today. Are there any authors or books that inspired you as a deaf writer?
Ooh, so for this book, the reason I started writing this book the way that I started writing it was because I read a book called, it's not a deaf author, but it's called Little Fire Everywhere.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We had her on campus.
Yeah. Okay. And that's Celeste,
Yep.
NG. Yeah. And so when I read that book, I was reading that book and I saw that first chapter. And that basis, she said, it's not over. The story doesn't finish. And she said the end of the story in the first chapter. Yeah, she said that she'll tell you the end of the story in that first chapter.
Absolutely. Well, Sara, we cannot thank you enough for doing this. We are very excited to see you in about 2 weeks. So thank you so much again. And yay, we will see you in about 2 weeks.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, interpreter.
Catch Let's Talk Big on Outcast OCCR Owens Community College Radio every Thursday at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 7 p.m., and 10 p.m., and at various times throughout the week. Or listen anytime on the Outcom RSS feed. Visit owensoutcom.com for the link. That's Outcom with 2 M's. owensoutcom.com for Let's Talk Big.